What's up, everybody? It's Sunday. I like to do a weekly roundup on Love Island USA on Sundays. Gonna keep it short today, though, because I'm also doing Big Brother live feeds, and I know there's gonna be even probably more drama with this Love Island season after it ends, so I gotta rest up for whatever drama comes. But there was some drama on After Sun last night. Casey and Titi still getting grief, some of which I think deserved, some of which I'm tired of, but we're still going to discuss some of the things that they said last night. Also, look at some other videos out there before tonight's finale. I think I'm more annoyed with TT's commentary than Casey's from After Sun because TT still has not escaped my fake accusations when it comes to her. And some of the things she said last night on After Sun was once again giving fake.
Did y'all see on After Sun that Casey and Tia both said that they hope that Melanie and Sincere wins? Tia, weren't you the same one telling Amora that she needs to tell Melanie all the stuff that Sincere was doing in Casa because he was moving weird? But now you want him to win? Oh, okay.
Titi didn't just say that Sincere was moving weird. Titi said that Sincere was moving the worst. She went out of her way to tell Amora that Sincere was the worst of all. And yet now she wants Sincere and Melanie to win. Maybe she just connected with Melanie, and that could be the case. However, this is another example of Titi being fake. Or was in the villa playing a game. Because as we called out when she was telling this to Amora, it was probably to take some of the eyes off of all the wrongdoings that Casey did to make Sincere look even worse, even though Sincere makes himself look bad enough. Also, on After Sun last night, she's talking about some people she might not be friends with. She didn't want to say any names, but again, they did embrace TT even if she had a bad start. This is what always happens. People leave the villa, they believe their own hype on social media. And I don't even know what hype TT has to believe because honestly, if we're being real, and I always like to be real, TT doesn't really even have a fan base. TT's fans are Casey fans first before they are TT fans. So I really do think that she should not believe her own hype, especially when her hype is 100K followers on Instagram. Casey is getting shit too, though, for his fragile comment.
If you're going to hold a grudge for somebody for 3 weeks because you weren't chosen at the door, when they also weren't being picked, you cannot come and call somebody fragile. To me, it just doesn't work like that. And Casey, if you're going to take accountability, take accountability. If you're not, don't go back and forth and then try to put the blame on somebody else. It just doesn't work like that.
From Casey's point of view, I think he saw Aniya as someone he didn't want to upset or didn't like to upset or didn't know how to make happy. And we know Casey doesn't like to put effort into relationships. So I think there was many things that went wrong between Aniya and Casey. They were never really compatible. I think Casey was just not good at communication, as I've said many a times covering this season. However, I do understand why Casey is getting flack for calling Aniya fragile when he himself was clearly very fragile, holding night one, nobody at his door against Aniya and all the girls for weeks. For weeks. That is a very fragile ego. It is. This next person again makes a point I've been talking about all season as to why KC is getting all the flack for being red pilled. It's because his fan base got the incel vote. It got the red pill vote. It got those type of fans that have been toxic because they really just became bigger voices once KC did Aniya dirty. After talking all this shit about Aniya, there was a lot of misogyny within the Casey fan base.
The number one reason why Casey got sent home was because of his misogynistic supporters. Nobody online was defending Sincere and his bullshit. We all was on one accord when it came to Sincere. We all knew he was a liar. We was just waiting for the other islanders to catch up to what he was doing when movie night happened. We've been seeing that he was lying. But what Casey did and the way misogyny attached itself to Casey the moment he disrespected Aniya is what really pissed people off and was the real reason why we wanted him and Titi to go home.
And if you still don't believe that Casey's fan base has these weirdo incels, have you seen some of these reactions to Casey being voted off and the anger and incel like statements going on from these reactions?
Right before my fucking birthday! Y'all voted off Casey right before my birthday! Y'all will all feel it! Oh my god! I swear to god, y'all feel my wrath! Oh my god! Casey! King Casa!
First of all, I would love to think maybe these type of guys are joking, calling Casey King Casa, but having these absolute meltdowns that Casey got eliminated and others are going to fill it is definitely that kind of incel anger energy. Let's take this out on women and other people that are happy in the real world.
Oh my god, y'all kept sincere! Y'all kept fucking sincere in the fucking villa! Are y'all fucking stupid? Are y'all fucking dumb? No, 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 no! Casey! I will avenge you!
Honestly, just straight up embarrassing. This is why I cannot get behind these other guys out there trying to push the KC narratives out there when you have people within the KC fandom that act like absolute weak, pathetic weirdos. There's way too many weirdos in that fan base. Some very popular guy, I have no idea who he is. He's Chase Hudson or something. He's like a singer, very popular social media personality. Apparently he knows Bryce, or he met Bryce 6 months ago and they became friendly. And he was one of the people that actually talked Bryce into doing Love Island. This also proves that Bryce was recruited and he did not apply to this show to try and be a scam artist. He was recruited by production.
I want to say he's one of the nicest, sweetest people you will ever come across. We had long, in-depth conversations about him going on Love Island. He was like getting some reviews. Some people have been like, no, I don't think you should do it. And I'm sitting there being like, Bryce, you have to do this. Perfect opportunity to show how charismatic you are. He's a very sweet kid. He was brought up around the nicest mother.
Although, can I say this Hudson guy is 24, calling 30-year-old Bryce a sweet kid. That cracks me up.
I'm like, this could be the perfect opportunity. You could leave there with a girlfriend, and it seems that him and Trinity have such a unique connection that I really love. I'd love to see this happening for him, because we're getting to also see through reality TV the sort of spark that he's getting from all of this, an idea that a relationship could be there for him. I think that's something that he's been struggling with ever since I met him, was finding someone suitable for him, because he's a complicated, sophisticated, emotional person, and that's where we relate. We're both very emotional beings.
So this guy is saying he related to Bryce because they're both very emotional beings, and it does make me believe, which I've always believed, that the emotional Bryce that we've seen this whole season is just Bryce. He's a Cancer, saw it all along. Last thing I want to touch upon in this roundup. Last week we talked about how there was this rumor, season 7 people, that Ace and Andreina hooked up. And we had Chelley's friend seeming to confirm it. And then Andreina got a prank phone call and talked about how it was Clarke that actually seemed to want to set her and Ace up together, or to have some time together, because Ace wanted to spend some time with Andreina and wasn't man enough to do it himself. So Clarke had to keep trying to set it up. Well, it is odd to me that now we have Taylor and Chelley on a vacation with Sierra, when Taylor is the one that was trying to set Andreina and Ace up in the first place together, unless it was just a bigger setup, period.
People were already saying that was a setup set up by Chelley, right? A scheme set up by Todd, okay? But this story just keeps getting juicier, because y'all you know what I like about most of the Love Island Fit stands is that y'all really peep a lot of stuff. See, I wasn't even thinking on that level until I seen it on Twitter, and I was like, wow, that makes sense. But after seeing Error, Clarke, and Chelley on a holiday together,
Y'all, it literally confirms it. And what's so interesting about this, right, is that in my old video I talked about how Chelley and Andreina weren't really that close anymore, and I felt like it's because Andreina stayed neutral between everybody, and she still does comment on Olandria photos and be nice to her. And honestly, the way Chelley is, like, her spirit, in a sense, is like she kind of does have a nasty spirit. I'm sorry.
Was it all this setup just to get some sort of attention back on Chelley, or was it some setup to try and take Andreina down? Because this came right after Chelley was in an interview talking how Sierra, Clarke, and Andreina are her friends from the season. It's very weird. The thing for me is that I believe Andreina because she was on this prank phone call. Didn't know it was a prank. Thought she was just talking one-on-one to someone. That's why I believe she was telling the truth. Why would she lie in that conversation? So yeah, I don't know. I've always found the behavior of Chelley, Ace, Taylor, and Clarke to be odd after last season, which is why I say you can't believe the hype when you get out of the show, because it doesn't do good for your careers. If you're trying to be an influence after the show, if you went on Love Island, or if you're just trying to get brand deals, don't believe your hype like I fear Casey Titi's already trying to do, because look what happened to Huda, the biggest hype last season, but she's been nothing but a mess, not getting brand deals because of the way she chose to go about things. You have to go about things the smart way in the business, and we'll see how people move after season 8. But seeing that season 7 people are still in drama, still being kind of weird with each other, I just feel like this season could be even worse, because there does seem to be this envy, this jealousy from people that were eliminated, holding some sort of grudge against the core 4 girls. We'll see what drama begins after tonight's finale.